We're going to go to the spreadsheet. This is the spreadsheet for the discussion for this week. But before we go into using all of this data, because this is a lot of information, I created a sample data set with simple data that you can use, so I can show you how it goes from using simple to more to more information. So for this chart, we are comparing the current members to potential members according to our asset size, and this is just made up numbers from the credit union I work for. So remember, when we want to show a comparison, we can use a column chart, line graph, or bar chart to successfully compare the values to each other. So to do this, I am going to highlight the values we want to compare, and then I'm going to go to Insert, Recommended Charts. Now, if you know the chart that you want to use already, you can just you can click on those, but I do recommend you can do recommended chart because Excel will give you what it recommends. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you have to kind of know what you're trying to show your audience. Okay. In my case, I would like to compare our current members again to the potential members that other data shows that we should have for our asset size. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on recommended charts. And again, Excel recommends several different charts if it can figure out your data. So there's the line chart here. This is a cluster column, and it tells you right up here what the type of chart is. This is a stacked area chart, stacked column, and 100% stacked column. So for this example, I'm just going to use a simple line graph. I'm going to press OK. So what happens is it brings us up a chart here. This visualization shows us that we remain steady. So for this, the blue is our members, the current members. This is a pretty steady line. You see a little bit of variance, but this is showing us that our members, we had a steady, um, we remained steady with our membership and did not have the growth that we were predicted to have according to our asset size. This is where we would have been if we would have reached our potential. Okay, so we're comparing these two. We're comparing our members to our potential members. So for our discussion, we are presented with much more data than my sample. So I'm gonna click here to get there. So see what happens when we follow the same steps that we just did. So if I highlight all of the information here, we're gonna highlight, okay, and then we're gonna go to Insert, Recommended Charts. Okay, so this is what it looks like if we use the recommended charts. Okay, but again, remember, I have to have some type of idea of what I'm trying to show. What Excel is recommended that we use is a cluster column, a scatter chart, another scatter chart, and a Pareto chart. Now, the thing is, I'm not really sure this is what we want, but we're gonna we're gonna see what it gives if we choose cluster column. I'm gonna press OK here. When the chart appears, you'll notice that Excel automatically converted our data into a pivot table. The pivot table allows you to summarize large amounts of data in a nice, concise way. If you create a pivot table, then your chart, you will have better success with getting all the data on one chart without it being jumbled. So back to the chart. There isn't much to say about this chart except there were, let's say 6 Boulder teas sold, because what it did is doing the count of the product. Okay. There were 10 carne asadas sold. There were 5 of the chocolates or chocolates sold. This is only showing the number of food items sold overall. Nothing too exciting. But to show more information, we would look to the right and see the pivot chart fields. We can do a lot with this information on this side. But because we don't have any other information concerning count, we cannot do anything else really with the count function, because we don't even have in our data here the count of the products per each month. We only have the count in this section here. Okay, so let's see what else we want to show in our data. So remember, in the raw data, there were also the sales by food per month. So we see January sales, February, March, and April. So we're going to go back to the sheet here, and we're going to add a new chart with the sales for each item. We can actually, instead of adding a brand new chart, we can change this chart. So to do that, we will remove the sum of values. We'll go here. This is the sum of values. And we're going to remove the count of products. So to do this, you're going to highlight it or click on it, drag it up to the top here. So now you have nothing on your chart, right? And that's okay. So then what we would do is we're going to check the check boxes for each month. So I checked January. You see January appeared with the sum of each product. I'm going to check for each month, and you see February, March, and April. Now you get you see all months are included to get a better view of what's going on with the sales for each month per item. Now with this, you see the different columns, but don't know what they represent. So we see bolded T, you see these columns are they have different values, but we don't know what that means, right? So we have to add, that's right, we have to add a legend. And to add a legend, you're going to click on, let's see, go back here. If you click on the chart, you're going to click on this plus button, which is the chart elements. And you're going to go to legend, and you're going to click it. Okay. That gives you what each value means. So in this case, the blue is for January, orange is for February, gray is for March, and yellow is for April. All right. Oh, excuse me there. Okay, so again, now that we have the legend, we know the sales for each month. Okay, so you can kind of see some of the values. For example, I'm going to use this one. You can see that it's 25,127.36 for the sopadillas for January. But to make it easier, you can go back into your chart values. And remember, we went back, you click on the plus sign, into your chart elements, and add a data table. What this does, some may like this and some may not. It gives you a breakdown for each month for each product. So for Boulder Tea, you can see specifically for January, they sold 544 food products or food items for the tea. 1,500 carne asadas, 744.6 chocolates, okay, for January, and so forth and so on. You can see it for February, March, and April. Some may like this, but some may not, because it does make it your whole chart look a little bit jumbled. And that's not necessarily what you want, but again, it depends on your audience. So again, it can crowd up your chart. So just be careful not to lose your audience. Let's see. So for me, I would probably not use it, but that is totally up to you. I am going to remove it from my chart here. Okay. One other thing I want to show you under your chart elements is it data labels. This is way too much. So I advise against using data labels. I have seen this for this particular assignment, and it does nothing but really confuse you. Now, again, it does depend on your audience, but no one can really understand that. So it's better to take that out of there. Now, for this one, the sopadillas, you can see that, but nothing else, everything else is so jumbled that it makes it, it's really, it does not do any good for anyone to see this. So that's one thing I want to show you what not to do for this. So I am going to remove the data labels. Okay. Now, one thing is when you're copying this chart in for your assignment, you want to remove all this excess information. Okay, and then I'll show you one other thing because this is not correct up here. But to remove this access information, you're going to right click on it and you're going to go ahead and click on hide all field buttons on this chart, and that removes that, right? So that's cleaner. So one thing I failed to mention is our title up here, our chart title. We're not talking about count of product anymore. Instead, we're talking about the sales of product, or you can name it whatever you choose to, whatever however it fits for the data that you're showing your audience. Okay. So once you've cleaned up your chart and you're ready to put it into your assignment, you make sure it's highlighted, your chart. You can do Control C for copy, and then you open up a Word, let's see, Word document. I'll open one up right quick, and then do Control V is there in your assignment, and you can type below it, above it. You should be able to enter in and type above it here, however you want to include it in your assignment. That's how you would do so. Okay. One other thing, even if before you copy and paste it into your assignment, there's another feature that you can make changes with your chart. There's the brush here that's called the chart styles. So if you click on that, you can change the style of the chart. Again, be careful with this because this particular chart, if we did change it to this, you cannot see that at the bottom, so it's hard to read. Okay, so you want to make sure that anything that you choose, you choose the correct visualization for your audience. You can choose a dark product, which is nice. Let's see. Again, let's see. Let's go back here. Let's remove those data labels. That's what was making it look weird. Sorry about that. So we're going to go back to your chart styles. Now it looks so much better because it's not as confusing. So you can, for either of these, I'm not sure why that keeps doing that. I guess for that particular chart type, it wants to have that information on there, but we don't want that on there. So, but if it's the data labels are off of is not checked, I should say, you should be good with this particular any of these charts in your assignment. But again, it'll all depend on what you're trying to analyze and what you're trying to show for this assignment. Everybody may have different charts, so that's okay as long as you explain what you're doing in your discussion. All right, so as a reminder for the discussion, you are creating visualizations that illustrate which items are selling well and how the business is doing month by month. You are to tell us what you are able to identify through the visual representation of the data, so make sure you use the information properly to analyze the data. Make sure you go through this exercise and ask yourself who your audience is, because that will determine the types of graphics that you use.